Yep, I'm ready.
Hmm?
Same here.
All right. As the team moves into the city, a few things have happened prior to this. Uh, One, kind of like collecting information and gathering it. The Night Owls had ventured into Luminera, the kingdom up north, to gather information on about the tunnel system that goes through the Underdark, through your kingdom, and then through the other kingdom. Uh, the Underdark kingdom of potentially the Drow, you're not entirely sure, but you've met them beforehand. You're technically supposed to be at war with them, but it hasn't been declared yet. More on that maybe later, depending on what happens. But uh, while waiting for that information, you decided to take on the mission that you were given, but definitely didn't do for the Night Owls. You did it for your own purposes. Uh, they told you about a chaotic dragon that was rampaging the area. They labeled it as a bronze copper dragon. Sorry. That was acting strangely, and a collector wanted it for their own collection. Rather than that, you decided to go and see what was going on. You found the mercenaries that went for it, mercenaries or whatnot, were not there. You found their abandoned or left abandoned campsite and found a lot of their weapons rusted, some of them broken or chipped, and the cage is also not doing too well. Milo, seeing and observing the sky as well as the ground, eventually fought off a corrupted copper dragon as its own copper scales were changing into a green hue. Defeating it as well as these strange creatures that came from underground, you began to take the body of the dragon and head towards your own capital city. However, I'm going to call them scientists. Scientists then began to chase you on giant worms. Not worms as in the sky, worms as in the ground. You took care of them, and before you could take care of the leader, air quotes, he said something along the lines of, I've gathered the information I needed, and this body has served its use. Blew himself up, hurt mainly Aster because Milo's a monk, but he still got hurt. But no one died, thankfully. Yoko then got a syringe blade and scalpel spear. Put it in their inventory, and you guys made way to the city with the dragon in tow on a large cart system. I was going to say a bison, but I think it was just a rhino. A rhino pulling the cart in tow.
Sorry, did you say we managed to get back to the kingdom, or are we still on the...
I'm going to say you're like a mile out before you reach the capital, which gives you time to figure things out. Because for safety reasons, you probably don't want a chaotic dragon in the city itself.
I'm sure he's law-abiding when he has to be.
Actually, yeah, that's actually perfect. We can slow down and start going at a much more mild pace. And if it's all right with everyone, I'd like to go ahead of the party and get a detachment of druids and wizards and clerics to come take a look at this dragon before we bring it within the gates of the castle.
That's probably a good idea.
All right. You send out one of your own team, likely the fastest, or at least fast enough that they can get there and come back without too much of an issue. a regalia of uh, security guard members to druids. Like two of each that you named begin to not surround you, but keep watch, keep a lookout in case things go wiry. There are my guards. The guard captain of this. Well, I wouldn't say the guard captain because technically the druids are a part of a different squad. Ignore the size. But the militia man, militia man. I'm just rambling now. The captain of the guards that followed soon with the druids does look towards you, and he does state, "Yes, sir. You've summoned us. What can we do for you, other than clearly taking in this rather large green dragon?"
Well, I was hoping that one of the members of the congregation or the circle or the school would have a better idea of what is ailing this copper beast.
As you say that, one of the individuals of the school does move forwards. There you are. Oh, oops, that's the druid. You know what? She would also be there. I'm just gonna put all of them at once. There's really no need to wait. So from left to right, there is the attendant with the school, the actual militia of your own standing army, as well as the druid to the far right. There are other people there, but I'm not gonna roleplay 8 to 10
That
people.
many characters,
Yeah.
absolutely understandable. These are the figurehead, the chosen figurehead of the organization.
Yeah.
I swear I recognize this character, though.
I might have used them before.
Avatar.
I don't think that's quite an avatar, but I see what you're saying.
I might have used them before. I don't fully remember. I'll look it up later. Not important right now. If it is somehow an enemy that you guys have faced beforehand, well then, twin cousin? Which is a thing. I've only seen it once. But Far does look towards you all, which is the person from the magical school. She does, after a bit of examination, does state, from the basis of what we understand, this is not exactly a well-off draconic being. It seems to have been corrupted in some way. We're not entirely sure what has caused this transformation, but it might take quite some time to discover it. Unfortunate, but true. If we have more data or more information on this, it could be done faster. We can attempt a few things here and there, but it's not a guarantee it will succeed.
What about the blood of the monsters that may have caused this? Would that help in any way?
It might. She looks towards her right and looking at Joma, who is the druid. Joma does state, it might, but it really depends on if these things are the actual cause for this. We can take a look at it, and depending on what exactly is going on, it could benefit us. Are they some type of carrier of this potential disease, or are they something else? And you guys did see these things bite into the dragon, and then like puncture it with its own flesh, and it did like turn more of its scales into a green tone.
We have cause to believe that the venom of these creatures is what was causing this transformation. I myself was punctured with a scale of theirs, but I seem to not be suffering such an ailment. I think the disease that is in me already is stronger than any that they could give me.
Not, I wouldn't risk it. But very well. If you have any of the vials that pertain this blood, it'd be useful.
I have one of the shards that pierced me.
I would give them a vial of the blood.
Okay. They will take one vial. I believe you have a couple. Aster, you kept the shard that embedded into your body?
Yeah, I was going to make a spear out of it.
Okay. Like, all information would be useful. If you want to keep some of it, that's entirely up to you.
If they think they can do something with it, by all means, I'll give it to them.
Okay.
Yeah, if they need both vials, they can have them.
I think if they would need both vials, they'll let you know. The flesh of the actual creature would be valuable, so they would also take that into consideration because they're not sure if it's transmitted through the actual skin or the blood work of the creature itself. Through some sort of fluid. So they would for sure take the chunk that stabbed into your side, as well as the vial of blood. Thank you both. I'll get working on this right away. Far then the state, we potentially could house this creature within the I don't want to call them dungeons, but I'm going to call them dungeons. Dungeons underneath the tower of the school. But depending on how strong this creature is, it might break free.
I was hoping that we could treat it kinder. I think that the regal beast that lays beneath that of what the savage monster has become is still in there. And I would hate for it to get the wrong idea of us. Joma, would we be able to keep it peaceful in your circle?
We could perhaps keep it sedated, but we cannot allow it to wake up if that is the case.
I understand. I simply just wish for it to not suffer.
Very well. The captain of the guard, whose name is Ned, has a name tag. Does state, very well, sir. Would you like some of my men to accompany them and keep watch over... He, like, thinks about, like, how to address it since you wanted to be more polite to the dragon. Would you like us to take care of the dragon?
I would
Keep watch.
appreciate a consignment assigned to it to make sure that if it does wake up, it can be properly restrained. I leave that to Joma's recommendation, though, as well as that of the circle.
Yeah, she gets more information on like what you've seen it do, what's it's possible, transmission of, well, not transmission, but transformation of its scales and how fast and rapidly that does it. She then speaks with Far and potentially gets some individuals that can cleanse the body or at least keep it stable so it doesn't continue to change and alter into a green hue. Ned then begins to speak with his own men, talking about having a good group of people, not massive in scale, at least 5 individuals that have training with aerial combat in case the dragon does seem to be subdued. It's not a guarantee 100% thing, but it is better than nothing. After all, a potential risk factor that is not watched is a potential risk factor that is not watched. PC-wise. NPCs can only do so much. I'm not saying it'll escape. I'm just saying that there's a chance. I'm only saying that also to mess with you guys. So there's that.
Naturally. There's a chance of everything, right? So
Yeah.
it only makes sense.
Joma then states, all right, the formulated plan is set. The dragon will be housed within the conclave itself. If there's anything else you would need, I will begin to have the druids cast a sleeping spell periodically throughout 8 hours in regular shifts.
Just a suggestion, but you may want to also get some people to keep watch around the area where you're keeping the dragon, just in case any people get curious and go snooping where they shouldn't be.
A lot of children do play in the area, as we're allotted a plot of land within the forest area adjacent to the farming land. We will take note of this. But we cannot give full vigilant view, otherwise our own work would be suffering. But we want to keep watch. But unless someone has genuine skill to not be found, there's little risk there. AKA, unless someone is a spy, they'd probably have sufficient numbers to keep an eye on it. Right. Well, if there's anything else,
No, I think that'll be all for now. Thank you for doing this. And you as well, Far.
Of course, sir. Joma then begins to slightly bow. Again, the druids are druid circle that are just helping out because it's doing good to the nature itself as well as the people. They're not underneath you, but they are listening to you. These are the druids that Alpani's group, Alpani's sister did bring in after speaking with them and communing with them properly. While they don't hold rank, they do hold title. All the way around. They hold title but no rank. Ned gets sufficient people to go around the creature in case it is awake. Joma then summons her own beast so your rhino can stay there since she can't hiddenly control it. And after a bit, they begin to head over into the forest area. Far then looks towards all of you and she does state, that proceeding plan done. If you like, some of my own group can look into the location on where you found this draconic infection.
You may if you wish, though I worry that it might still be dangerous. We were pursued and attacked by the group that I believe is responsible for the infection of this beast.
Well, I will leave it up to you, but the offer is standing. She politely bows towards all of you and begins to head out. Uh, Ned also like salutes you guys, bows down to the king, salutes once more, and begins to head out. The other guards in turn also salute, and with the other NPCs, proper and polite greetings are had. And for now, the dragon is not in the city. For now. So, what do you guys do? You still have like a week before the night owls actually get there with the information. You can just say we wait a week and do like things we would normally do. Or if you have an idea, let me know.
Um, in this case, I'm just going to help out with the dragon where I can.
Hmm.
I'll probably just head back to the castle and go back to doing the usual.
Sounds good. Zhao?
Zhao would probably periodically check the dragon and the surroundings of the druid circle to make sure there is no one trying to get to it, and also do like a nighttime patrol throughout the city.
Hmm. And Milo, I know you say you're gonna keep quiet for a good amount of things. But if you want to type and let me know anything, feel free to.
I'm good right now. I'll just wander around aimlessly, just relaxing.
All right. Hmm. All right, I'll start off with Yoko. Yoko examining the area that you often enough visit, aka the courtyard or the I was about to call it the battle yard. The battle yard uh of the training ground. You see Pepper there. The spry young attendant that is assisting you while you're in the city. Uh Currently she does look towards you, nods as she's training with the other people here, as well as the other. I'm not going to call them attendants, but best way I can describe them are squires, people that attend to other knights, other fighters within the grounds. After a while, she does look towards you, heads over after while you're training or after you're training, whichever is more appropriate. And she does state, it's been quite a while. I hope you've been well.
Yes, I have. We just got back recently, and well, I was looking to get some more training and exercise in. Trust you've been keeping up on your own?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Uh, like she shows you a few footwork forms, and it's not perfect, but it's definitely better than it has been beforehand. So she has been keeping up with the training.
That's good to hear.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh, reason why I came over here is to deliver this letter. And she hands over a letter that you received while you were out and about.
Thank you. I'll go take a look at it.
Very well. If you'll need me, I will be 15 feet around as always, until deemed otherwise necessary.
And I'll find somewhere to sit down and read the message.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember what you sent your family?
Um, think I was just asking about Lily of the Red, but I already got a
Yeah.
letter back about them.
Okay, because I have information here, and it says that on my notes, I'm not pointing anywhere directly, that you sent another letter to your family, and I don't remember what it was, and I have information here that you could have, but I don't want it to just be information you have because it just ex machina's in. I just don't remember why I have this here. You know what? They're family. They'd probably send you letters regardless, or at least I'm gonna do it this way. Opening the letter, you do open it, and it is from your family. Beforehand, you sent a letter to see who were certain people in your phantasmal dream, and another letter soon after various weeks does come in. Beforehand, you were also given information that the next emperor is quickly approaching to be chosen, and various candidates are in line, I wouldn't say for the throne, but in line to be chosen by a family to be their representative. Now a letter has been sent to you, and it does read, it is in a fine calligraphy, likely from either your father or your brother. They both write in the same similar fashion, but it does read, Dear Yoko, as you have mentioned beforehand in the connection with the clan in red, their agents have been moving forwards into your current residence. Be advised that they are around, as mentioned beforehand by our previous letter. They seek to strike a bargain with those they seem or deem valuable in nature. As acting representative of our current family, unless our grandfather changes their decision, be advised that they may look for you, in which case be as non-combative as possible. Further hand, be advised that we all need to advance in our own military and magical skills, as more and more movement in the North Kingdoms being this kingdom and the kingdom to your very south, and then your own kingdom is further south of that, has been chaotic, and more boats have been appearing in the docks. We're not entirely sure what is happening where you reside, but more tremors in the ground have been felt, and more winged creatures in the skies have been seen. Keep watch for the perils that lie ahead. And then it's signed with your own family insignia.
I'll tuck the letter away and call Sprite over.
As mentioned beforehand, she's like 15 feet away. Enough distance that she can't read over your shoulder, but close enough you can call her. She just moves towards you and, yes, ma'am?
I need to write a letter. Is there somewhere? Can you show me in the castle where I can do that?
Of course. We can go to the letter room. You immediately head towards the letter room, which is a nice study area that has a whole bunch of paper, depending on if it's familial connection, friend connection, a business one, etc., etc. Same with the other equipment, say the pen you use, the chalk you potentially use. It is very pompous and appropriate for a castle.
And I'll spend some time there writing a response,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just message it to you when I finish.
Okay. writing things down, making sure everything is connected and absolute. I'm not sure if Yoko would have the training to figure out what they need to, what kind of paper, what kind of ink to do that. So I'm just gonna wave that away. Uh, as you write your paperwork down. We'll go with Zhao next. Zhao is examining the forest line while Astra's there, helping attending to the dragon in case something is to happen, assisting some of the wizards that come down to keep its form stable. You do see sometimes a few shadows moving about. From time to time, they're children, they're elderly, they're farmers. Just like curious why there's a group of druids just circling the tree and moving from time to time as if in a flanking formation, and then sometimes in a secure guard position. So you don't find anyone super trying to be stealthy. It's more like curiosity in the same way a child sees something fancy and wants to see what it is, or catches it fancy, really. But I do want you to roll a persuasion check. Not persuasion, perception check. As you keep watch.
Wow.
It's a 12. You like catch some kids here and there. You catch some adults that are also curious. At a certain point, like one of the adults gets close enough that they could probably see the creature before you catch them, and like you pull them back immediately. Some of the druids weren't in the area, but if he got closer, for sure he would have been in a more open environment, which means that the druids that are near the dragon could have seen it and stopped them. Like, the druids are keeping watch here and there, and you do see that, unfortunately, their flanks were just open then and there. So the potential public will know about the dragon. Or at least the farmers will. People like to gossip. And as you're doing so, as you're keeping watch, you do see someone in the area. And Zhao, roll for me history.
Oh, fuck you.
And you did it. A man like draws towards the forest, and he doesn't like try to hide himself or stealth himself away. You've seen this person beforehand. They are an acting agent, not of you, not of your own group that keeps watch over the nobles, but of another group known as the Honeybees. They are a criminal organization from the kingdom to the south. Not the most friendliest people in the world, but also not the worst people in the world. But they will and are willing to be paid to kill a guy and not feel too bad about it. Like, if you have enough money, they'll do the job. Looking towards you, he like comes forwards. Again, not stealth. His weapons are visible. He is not like keeping a dagger palmed in his hand. And he does state towards you. Oh. I've never seen you around here beforehand. I take it you're new?
Really? I've been here for quite some time.
Suppose I'll take your word for it, ma'am. I should probably introduce myself. The name's Birch. Pleased to meet you. He like extends his hand out for a handshake.
And Zhao. So tell me, what are the honeybees doing here?
No handshake given. He like retracts his hand. Huh. Thought it was better than that. Shrugs. We are keeping our associates informed. Had a bit of a dealing with this kingdom's king and his people, as well as Miss Yoko, and at one time they had an individual named Milo, but I don't believe they currently have them in their group anymore. Last time he was with you guys, I believe Thane was here. But he did meet Milo at one point. As well as and he also met Alpani at a certain point. Miss Alpani, but I do not see her around. I see her sister, and she says hello from time to time. So, keeping myself busy. All that, from what you can tell, is he's aware of the kingdom, he's aware of the king and the people around him, and he just didn't fully answer your question.
Well, currently this area is restricted, so you need to leave.
I mean, this is druid ground, given to them by the king. Don't believe you're a
Yes,
druid,
and there's
miss.
something. I may not be a druid, but there is a danger here that we're trying to keep away from the rest of the citizens of this kingdom.
Oh, Now, that might not have been the best information to give to, I'm just gonna call myself a crook. A crook. Now, I really want to know. That being the case, though, I am not going to run in to see what is happening there. I am, again, keeping watch, but I am not trying to stir any nests, if you will. Still, though, if things are so visible in the regards of flanked guards, circling druids surrounding this area, people are going to eventually find out. Unfortunately, humanoids are very curious in the ongoings of secrets. If you'd like, though, I can perhaps assist you. Not in this. I'm sure you... He then looks behind him and, throws a dagger, and, a person begins to, run away. Have this covered. But perhaps your services could be attended elsewhere. And in turn, you can hire me to do those services. While I'm here, I do need work.
That is not my place to hire you.
Well, you're here. You're not a druid. I've been around the druid circle quite some times. Quite a few times, actually. So you're here for a reason, and you were likely given this position not out of... what is it again? Nepotism? You have some power behind you, I take it.
I may, or I may have chosen to be here for a reason of my own.
I highly doubt that. And, Zhao, roll... I was gonna say bluff. But you're technically telling the truth. Persuasion! Not bad. He does state, you may or you may not, I don't know you that well. That being said, though, I highly doubt that the circle here, much less the farmers here, would leave you alone to such a degree without actual trust. Perhaps not in you, but perhaps your employer. Which means you do have some power here. But I'll let you. I'll let you.
Perhaps just giving you my last name, or shall I say, my clan name, would tell you who my employer is.
Might. But again, I've already warned you about giving information to scoundrels such as I.
I mean, you're more than welcome to try and use this against me, but the clan I hail from is quite dangerous. I would not like to see anyone go up against them.
Again,
Even a group as reputable as yours.
I would not go against anything that I don't need to. After all, I'm not trying to die, much less pick a fight. He then kicks the ground and a rock flies up in the air. He catches it and throws it near a tree, and a small kid backs up and begins to climb back down the tree and bolt away.
You get some amusement out of throwing stuff at children.
The first one was an adult. The second one, I'm not going to throw a dagger at a child.
These are citizens. You shouldn't be throwing anything at them. Unless they are a clear threat.
Which is why I'm not actually hitting them.
As I said before, it is not in my call to hire you for something as this. You would need to speak to probably the king before anyone else.
Too true. I believe I've gotten the information I needed. Thank you.
But at the same time, remember one thing. If you try to impede what's going on here, as it, in my eyes, is a good thing, and Zhao will start to walk past him, I won't have a problem cutting you down, and anyone that gets in my way.
You're fun.
And well, you have my oath on that as a member of the Shoy clan.
Ah.
At which point she will leave the area.
And as you begin to leave, he looks towards the lining where you left off. The perimeter where you left off. Smiling while you walk away, he does state, "You are indeed fun, Miss Zhao. Hope to see you again." And he goes in the opposite direction, but not towards where the dragon would be. While you're walking away, he walks the opposite direction, but not towards where you were guarding. And as the following time does happen, you don't see him again. Looking and roaming around, you do speak with a few people around, perhaps the bordering area of the security there. You speak with some of Ned's people here and there, and they have seen Birch around from time to time. He's friendly towards people here and there, but sometimes you get different names instead of Birch. Sometimes you get Henry, Frank, clear aliases, as he himself is a wood elf and would have more of a distinctive wood elfin name. Or perhaps, he was raised as an orphan. But definitely when you describe this individual, some people do give you different names. And he's like well liked, but like no one really knows much about him. And as you're keeping watch, keeping over, even over this particular situation, go ahead and roll another perception check. Not bad. No one else, as you're keeping watch, makes it far enough that they could potentially touch the dragon, see the dragon. So the spread of this being here isn't going to be too quick, but people will know. And before this, you can also tell that whoever Birch is a threat because he named you after you told him your family lineage. I'm not saying you and him can go on a one-on-one fight. You probably are stronger than him, but anyone that knows that information is probably a danger.
Everyone gets one chance and then they die.
Again, he hasn't done anything from what you can tell. He just has way too much information. But I'll leave you to decide what that means to you.
Guess I have to go get Yoko. We gotta go do a nighttime hunt of a certain wood elf. It could be fun.
All right. Aster, as you're moving forwards to your own things, taking care of the worm, making sure that everything is peaceful, calm, and tranquil, as the druids keep putting to sleep to make sure it is not rousing or being messed with. Some of the guards do switch flanks, switch the position. Like, this security is good, but they can't watch every single thing, every single position. Otherwise, there'd be too many people here and too many jobs undone. But the dragon is always being kept watch, at least by 2 people. Not 2 people total. Like, there's always eyes on the dragon, at least 2 people each time. Whenever someone needs to move, the dragon is always being watched. Sometimes more, but never any less. As you're there are a few people here and there that show up, giving you reports while you're doing your job out here in the forest. And eventually someone does appear that you aren't familiar with. Well, I don't know. Zhao, former Alpani, has Aster ever met your sister?
I would assume so. When she came to the kingdom the first time.
Didn't she flirt with me?
I think she flirted with almost everyone. Except for Yoko.
I feel like she started to flirt with me, and I'm like, nah, my shit's busted, and like flashed my leprosy, and she's like, oh damn. I feel like that's how that went.
That feels right. Yeah, that's probably it.
But either way, I think she did meet Aster in some form, because when Alpani made the trip back with the half-elf and the guard, her sister joined her on that trip.
Yeah.
I thought. And then she would have probably met Aster at that point.
Okay. Then I guess a person you have met before, Aster. Well, the resemblance is sort of there. I was about to say a druidic scribe. A druid of the circle that has been positioned here does meet up with you. She does state, "Oh, King Aster, it's been quite some time. I suppose you are the dignitary that has been keeping watch, as my circle has mentioned. I hope they've been accommodating to you."
They have been doing excellent work. I appreciate them greatly.
Yes, very good. Like the whole flirtatious pattern that she has done with like every person is more or less gone with you. Not as if there's no interest there, but if there is no pleasure there, she won't continue. Like her entire thing is both people need to enjoy it. If one is not, she just stops, which is one thing that Alpani has never discovered.
But
But I
she a
digress.
slut,
Yeah,
in other words.
but she has some morals.
Very few.
Very few, but she does. Regardless of that, though, she does state, very well then. Well, actually, she wouldn't say very well. Very good. Oh, that does remind me. There are a few strange circumstances happening around us. I'm not entirely sure what they are. Some creatures from the burrowing ground have been climbing up onto the surface itself more and more. Some of the migrating birds around the area have been migrating prior to their normal circle. Based off of what we can assume, something dangerous is going to arrive into the city in the next following few days. Potentially month, but we're not sure what it could be. Which is the problem here.
If I describe the weird creatures that we fought with the dragon, does that match the description?
Not completely. From, she might know something about those now that I think about it. 12. Plus history. As a 3, 15. Not completely. These things seem to be similar to those, but not exactly those exact things. But based on what I know, the creatures that you have been dealing with are from the Underdark. Far deeper than we have, from what we have already seen, which is a problem if that is something that is happening. If the creatures before the Underdark begin to head to the surface, it means that something further is heading towards the surface that they consider a threat. So it's possible that the Underdark itself is causing this concern. And the animals are simply acting on instinct to leave the danger site. I do not know much about the Underdark other than they are adjacent cousins to our own folk. Hopefully, they mean peace, but someone quite powerful is likely approaching. If not, something powerful is approaching.
I have suspicions that there is a group that is mutating surface creatures with Underdark creatures' biology. This dragon, for instance, seems to be some sort of culmination of those creatures that we fought and, well, Copper Dragon. In addition, they also had these large burrowing worms of some kind.
Well, that is problematic. If there's anything we can do, we will see. We'll have a few adjacent druids perhaps keep watch of them getting far closer. Finally found our token. Far closer than. How about we have some druids make sure that they keep watch over these things, and at a certain point let you know when they've become surface bound.
That would be excellent. Are you able to assist the druids in aiding this dragon anyway?
We are able to keep it stable, and thanks to as well as far, able to keep it stable as well as keep it contained. Unfortunately, this type of change from what our sister Joma has told us has mutated due to biological means, not natural means. It is as if something had corrupted it in a mutation way. We are not able to, as of right now, revert it without a very powerful spell behind us. And even then, it would only change its form into a new one. Not cure it. As she's talking, Joma does eventually join you guys, because of course she would. She does state, Joma does come in and does state, yes, that is correct. And she hands you what's left of the broken shard of the creature. There's still a good amount. There's definitely weapon possibility. Thank you for that. It doesn't seem that the flesh itself is the cause of it, rather more of the blood work than anything else. But even still, it is a diluted form. The real cause is likely right around the mouth area. If you have any of that substance, that would be very helpful. Otherwise, you'd only have so much power within the blood work itself. That being the case, though, this creature is biologically made. It is not derived from the god of nature herself. Sorry, not biologically made. Artificially made. There is a strand of actual naturalness to it, but the former creature it was derived from is not close to what this is anymore. Its base form is known as a rust monster, a creature that can deteriorate metals and create and enhance their imperfections. Someone has mutated it beyond its normal means and created these malformed creatures.
And even if we cut away the infected areas carefully, there's no saving it without powerful magic.
Not without powerful magic or having the actual structure of what actually did this. Perhaps with that information, Far and her own conclave of sorcerers and wizards could ordain something. It's either that or find someone that its base root is on scientific magical properties rather than magical properties themselves. But I'm afraid I do not know anyone of that nature.
Would you mind waiting here? I'm going to go get someone. Or actually, no, she's acting as a dignitary. Dogma, how long How far out was the location of this dragon?
It was about 3 days out and then 3 days back.
So we theoretically could mount a party to go and get one of those corpses if they're still there.
If they're still there.
Come back and still be in time for the dignitaries of the Moon Clan to be back.
Night owls, but yes.
Night owls, my bad.
Although I probably will use Moon Clan now for something.
I think I accidentally stole it from Fire Emblem. Don't quote me.
I can believe it. I'll probably call them something else, like People of the Moon. But I digress. You definitely can. But it would have been at least 24 hours since you've gotten here. At the very least, 24 hours.
At the very least. We could ride without sleeping. Save us at least a day.
I mean, yeah. Like, your sister is still... I wouldn't say MIA. She's still doing her dignitary thing. She might have been helpful for this, but even still, hers is more magic-based than technology-based. But she does have a keen mind. There are potentially a few people that you might be aware of, but they would not be from your kingdom. Zhao, you can also be around here, listening in.
Oh, fuck. It's the 2 letters, people. Fuck, did I write them down?
You might have.
It's been a long time. I keep on wanting to say Z and Z, but I don't think that's right.
Rev and Rev?
Or, yeah,
Rev and Rev.
R and R. Yeah.
Big E, little E.
Yeah, they're operating within the capital, right?
Sort of. They can definitely be called upon, but it will take a couple days to get there. You more or less befriend them, so they're working in the backgrounds, not creating any distrust in anything, and allowing slow movement so you can investigate their prior former kingdom.
You're right.
They're not.
I know exactly what to do here. I don't want to reach out to them and draw any more attention there. However, I'm speaking to the sister.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that they're not in the capital right now. They're like in their own flagship companies that are not in the capital. But you can call them if you want. You just said you weren't, but you can call to them if you desire.
Well, but here's the trick. Sister of Alpani. I have the Druid Circle send a letter to Rev and Rev of Rev and Rev Incorporated, saying that you have a biological arcane matter that you wish to show them as the Druid Circle, but bring it by the castle so that it can be sealed with the King's seal. I think the meaning will be clear enough to them.
Very well. Zhao's also right next to you.
Make sure to include that they are welcome to use the magical circle network. Time is of the essence.
We will make an appointment to potentially use the circle as various individuals are still coming in and being treated at the magic school.
I will let it be known that they are to be given priorities should they show up with the King's seal.
All right. And Zhao, while you're also here, listening to a few things here and there, Yeah, fuck it. Milo is also here. I'll listen to a few things here and there. Both of you can roll history. Watch Zhao get another natural 20. To figure out potential other people that could help if Rev and cannot help or aren't able to immediately present themselves. That's a 3. Like, it's a skill
But
check. It's
Indeed.
not like an attack or something.
Zhao wasn't actually around at that point when they met Rev and Rev.
Yeah, so I was thinking that you might know of other people.
Yeah.
Based off of your guys' history, etc., etc. Nomadic lifestyles. Not nomadic lifestyles. Traveling lifestyles. Zhao, you definitely know a few people here and there, but not to this specific trait of school. This is something unique. This is not everyday kind of thing. Like, oh, people know magic? They like heavily focus in on magic. Why hybrid a thing if you already know that the magical thing works with the magical thing?
Wait, we're trying to figure out what? You've got me a little confused here.
Like potential people that can help out with the situation. Like specifically treating the dragon and curing it.
Yeah, that was something we never discussed. So we never discussed about my soul trinkets.
That is true.
What spirits they came from. Like one of them is from the, I think, was it the worm or the? No, it's from the. So, were they drow that were on the worms?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of them is from the drow there. Pretty much what I'm looking at is this. The last paragraph. As an action, you can destroy one of your soul trinkets no matter where it's located. When you do so, you can ask the spirit associated with the trinket one question. The spirit appears to you and answers in a language it knew in life. It's under no obligation to be truthful, and it answers as concisely as possible, eager to be free.
Okay.
I don't know if that would work for this, to ask the spirit if it knew of anyone that could help when it was alive.
That is possible. I think you got one of the assistants, right?
Yeah, but I worry about that because they may not be truthful. I mean, I'll try it.
Yeah.
So I'll break the soul trinket and ask if they know of anyone that would be able to help us. I guess cure the dragon?
Fracturing this soul trinket, releasing the spirit for a moment until it passes away. You ask it what specifically?
If they know of anyone that has worked with this type of, I guess, biology or medical practices of altering creatures.
That's good sentence structure. Go ahead and roll persuasion. I'm not gonna say, oh no, they're evil. You get nothing. It's like, I don't know. You might be able to. Pretty good. It's not Aster level good, but that is a +9. It's not a 30. I still think that's crazy. Anyways, asking the spirit, potentially politely, what it knows. It does look towards you, and it does state, There's my former boss. Honestly, I don't know why I was listening to him. I guess it's because the matriarch told me to listen to this man. Even though he was beneath me. He's known as Oliver. And then there's the people that we tried to recruit a few times here and there, but they weren't taking. One of them is known by the title of Mystic up in Luminera. And then there's that one guy to the west of this kingdom, I think. He's currently with a band of bandits to like try to help them gain control of the kingdom. I don't know his name. We just didn't get the guy to work for us, so we just didn't bother with him after that. Okay. Hopefully you can destroy my former boss's life. Again, a man shouldn't have that much strength. We're a matriarchal society. He should really bend the knee whenever we ask. Really. And then she goes on to say a lot of very sexist things. I mean, it's a matriarchal society where they very, for sure, demean men. Bound to happen. Not the nicest person to begin with, as she fades away into potentially. I don't know if you think she's good or evil, but to the
Either way,
afterlife.
I hope she enjoys Oblivion.
Yeah.
She's no longer stuck in a little trinket. Well, that part of her spirit, at least.
Yeah. Fading away. You do have answers.
So there's a question. Am I the only one that hears the spirit, or is it just like everyone can hear it? Because it doesn't say.
Don't know. I'll let you flavor it. Can other people hear it, or can just you?
Oh, you know, with what you just said, everyone has to hear it. How she demeaned men.
Aster, you hear this. A few other guards and druids also hear this. Very sexist comments.
I believe I was aware of that aspect of their society.
I mean, yeah, you visited it at one point in time.
Well, we have a few options to look into. That information.
This is true. I still think we should wait to hear from Rev and Rev. I do value their input. They are quite intelligent people. I don't know. What say you? That is my opinion, at least.
Well, obviously the one that's working with the drow is probably going to be out. Because from what I understand of everything, you may have made an enemy of the drow recently.
Putting it lightly.
Mystic of the Northern Kingdom. Maybe we can have someone investigate that man that's involved with the bandits. Gather some information on him, at least, while we wait for Rev and Rev. Just gonna point out of character, Zhao never ganked anyone's matriarch. That was all you.
I'd do it again.
She was not a nice person, but
I mean, Zhao would probably
actions have
help.
consequences.
Zhao would probably help, but just saying, for this situation, she was not involved.
Mm-hmm.
But she is
We
now.
already suffered the consequences of that.
No, you didn't.
We have.
Yeah, the
not.
mansion burned down before we could loot it.
That's Yoko's consequences.
Didn't Yoko still get a sword out of the vault at least?
No, I don't think so.
No, there were guards there that are like flanking her because they, went to go collect weapons because people were fighting in the area and didn't get a chance to because the building was for sure breaking apart. Regardless of that,
So the Northern Kingdoms, is that the one with the 3 patriarch and whatever?
Patriarch, the Matriarch, and the Mystic.
Okay, so aren't we already investigating that?
You were investigating adjacent to them, like who was potentially funding these things, sending these ships through underneath your kingdom, and you figured that stuff out. You weren't like going for specific information on these 3 people. You definitely have information on their public personas, not their personal lives.
So I think our best bet, Your Majesty, is probably the man involved with the bandits to the west. Maybe we can send someone to gather information.
I can speak to the guard captain and have one of the forward scouts investigate. Or depending on the distance, forgive me if I misjudge how far they are, we could perhaps go investigate ourselves even before. Well, it can't take longer than a day for Rev and Rev to get here, so I'd be more comfortable sending for a scout.
Yay, you're alive.
Good to hear, Milo.
And then after the scout report, we can, and after we see what Rev and Rev have to say, then we can perhaps see about this man.
Mm-hmm.
Does that
It's a step forward, at the very least. More than what we had before.
Mm-hmm. And again, as mentioned beforehand, Milo is also here.
I mean, the only other option I see is to possibly send me or Milo to investigate.
I can get in and out pretty quickly if needed. I could probably get there and back within a day.
How far away is this bandit camp, DM? Was that told?
It can be told. You would know this information. You would know more or less the distance of your borders. It is kingdom to the west of you. It is 2 weeks travel, but with the dimensional gate, it would be a half day at the very least. Getting there.
Oh, a dimensional gate. Okay, never mind. I thought it was closer.
Sorry, not the dimensional gate. Magic circle. So you can head towards the westmost city and get there by half a day. There is a magic circle within the capital, so you can definitely do that. But you would at least take a day to do a few things.
Yeah, that would be our only other options, is to send one of us.
You can definitely do that. And again, there are a couple, we're going to fast pace through this week. So you can definitely do that before the Night Owls get here with information. And even then, you don't need to immediately act on that information. You'll just have it.
I don't feel comfortable sending either of you by yourselves towards a known bandit camp. Forgive me. I will not give that order.
I mean, you don't have to order me.
I will not make that request.
How did we know how big the bandit camp is?
The kingdom to the west is a very spacious area. A lot of the places aren't livable. So those people that group together are large in number, but not in possible numbers. You do not know specifics because the woman that was captured did not know specifics, unfortunately. She just knows that her boss can deal with this kind of thing. The Mystic of North can deal with something like this. Or someone they tried to recruit but couldn't could deal with something like this to the west of the kingdom. But she doesn't have specific information on him, so you would quite literally need to investigate, figure out numbers of the bandit camping group he's backing up to become the leaders of the actual kingdom itself. The kingdom to the west is more or less broken up into tribes. I just call them bandit camps because it's easier to remember for me. I don't know why. And many tribes are like city-states, but all of it together is one kingdom.
Okay.
And right now they're like fighting for supremacy. But if any outward threat comes their way, they will all group together.
It's not a true bandit camp. It's okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Again, some groups are bigger than others. Some are quite small. Some are quite literally small groups. But there are like 5 prestigious ones and then like smaller ones. You do not know where this guy is from or currently at, which is why investigation does need to happen. So it might take more than a day, or it might not.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yawn.
Oh, good. But yeah, you also just have this information, so you can definitely act upon it when need be, like maybe perhaps when you're all together, and can do it, or maybe, more than one person is sent. I'll leave that up to you. You have these 3 things Zhao has collected. Rev and Rev will be given a message, and Yoko is currently sending a message herself. Joma and her technical leader of the circle will also be keeping and tending to the dragon, so everything will be more or less okay. Astra, I want you to go ahead and roll a perception check. Same with you, Zhao. And same with Milo. Yoko's currently not here.
You said perception?
Uh-huh. While you guys are talking, you do see some people getting more and more curious, but no one is able to get close enough to reach the parameter of where you guys are talking about. Aster, Milo, and Zhao, you've hear some people whispering in the wind. So you send some people over there to back them up and make sure no one gets close enough to the dragon to let alone see it. So this wave of people have been abated, or they're at least stopped. For now. But the spread, a potential rumor of a dragon being here has slowed down, which is good. It might just be a creature being housed here instead of an actual dragon. No true information is known. At least not yet. But Zhao did also speak with a criminal and was told that there's something dangerous being housed here. Who knows? It depends on how much he wants to mess with you guys. I'll leave that up to your own imaginations, of course. But the following day does happen. Things do go on. Eventually, you guys meet up in the morning, taking care of a few things here and there. The following afternoon, you do get a message back while you're all there together. Yoko is now also here. And it does read from Rev, not other Rev. Greetings. It has been quite some time since we've spoken. We can definitely look into things. However, we are currently preoccupied with a situation at hand. No disclosed details can be given at this moment in time. However, we will investigate any data or data that can be sent our way. Please be advised. And then it reads 618927. Colloquial time will be given. Thank you and have a great day. That was a weird array of numbers. Any one of you can roll insight. Yoko, that sounds like, I don't know, military time. That's like what, 6:30 in the evening?
Can you
Maybe
repeat the
there-
numbers?
It's not important, truly.
Oh.
Can you
I
repeat the numbers?
61865. Not important, truly. Looking and examining this thing, Zhao, Milo, you can both tell that this is a cipher system and the numbers themselves are the key to truly read how this message is read. So,
what's the corresponding letter with the number? So, like, what is the 6th letter? What is the first letter?
yeah. You got what I was going with. Examining it, I'm just going to give you straight out what is written in my notes. You then read the actual message underneath, which honestly isn't a direct translation. I was just seeing if your characters could get the cipher in there. You get the actual message, and it does read, currently being watched over by the Patriarch. Please be advised that we cannot move and proceed forwards physically, but any data or information that can be sent our way will be examined and sent your way in a discreet manner. Furthermore, contact with our sailing ships has been cut off, and further investigation is needed there. We cannot send physical people your way until this has been cleared. Based off this information, you can tell they're being kept a watch on by the Patriarch. Why? You're not entirely sure, but you do know that the Patriarch is the land area where the ships are going underneath into the Underdark. Their own personal ships are actually being stopped from crossing the actual border, whether legally or illegally. For what purpose, they do not know. They have to investigate that. But if they spread their numbers too far, it could be seen as a potential suspicious nature. Which means something has happened to the north while you guys have been doing things, which is a problem. For them, not necessarily for you, not your kingdom. But you
Not our
will...
problem.
not your kingdom, not your problem. But they can help you as long as you give them the data, the information, and they can send you messages along the way.
I will let the Druid Circle know to send over all the information, the Druid Circle and the wizards that have been working on it, to send over all the information they've gathered so far, and to encode the message in a very similar manner, and to not be using the king's symbol, the king's seal anymore, just in case.
Mm-hmm. Probably a good call. Yeah, screw it. Why not? Ned is also there.
Mr. Flanders.
Dude?
Good to see you again.
Oh, was this somebody that was introduced while I was passed out?
It
Yep,
was
this
the
guy.
captain of the guards that are currently stationed here to keep an eye on the dragon in case it goes wild.
Oh,
Uh,
got it. Okay.
I called him
Yeah,
Ned
that
because
guy.
of the mustache, based off of Mr. Flanders from The Simpsons. And then Yoko called me out on it.
That guy. Yeah, that guy. Okay.
Yeah. Joma does nod, so does Far. Ned also nods while he's, keeping an eye on the dragon. You do get information as it comes in, and it does read from time to time. Biological transformation, cellular deformation, and other things that perhaps your characters don't know, but they then simplify things into someone has altered its cells, altered its form to mutate it into the structure that it is now becoming. And it will continue until there is a antidote created. The true original formula needs to be found, otherwise it will continue to change unabated. If we can get this formula, we can do it, but it is a necessity.
All right, so they can at least synthesize the antidote, so long as they know what they're working with.
Yeah.
All right. 5 more days until the owls arrive.
2.
2. Okay.
You guys can do one more thing, each of you, if you want. Well, each of you, 2 more days prior to, you can do one thing and then the outcome will present itself.
Gotcha.
If there's anything you want to do and find out what the outcome is, feel free to say. Yoko, you did send that message, and they are now aware of the situation at hand.
Okay. Now I can't think of anything else I want to do in that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I will go ahead and speak to the not the guard captain, but the officer that I left in charge of the military. I forget his name. He kind of looks like a vampire, though.
I was gonna say Ned again.
Wasn't it the guy that was the son of that priest dude?
Yeah, the guy that killed his father. Not the priest guy, but the other guy.
Mm-hmm. His name was... Oh, did I delete his token? Yes, I did, from this map.
He was so long ago. It's understandable.
His name is Roy.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That guy.
I will ask him to send a scout report towards that bandit camp.
Mm-hmm. Speaking with Roy, he does nod in affirmation, and he does state, very good, sir. Beyond that, from what we can tell, the bordering line of the kingdom is secured. He gives you the details of what has been happening, been transpired. He's making way, making sure that the people that are need to be headed out are there. And specifically, what are the orders, Aster?
To investigate that bandit camp for any signs of a man of scientific inclination.
Okay. Makes the documents and paperwork proper, so the group he sends are allowed to go through, not as militia, but as people that have transferred in, investigating, looking into things, but, ordered but not seen. They'll likely be traveling in incognito mode. Nods tells you about a few things here and there. The Druid Circle the Druid Circle leader does come in, speak with you, and does state that whatever is causing this commotion underground has breached the surface, and they will be arriving here within 1 week. The current location, and she tells you the current location, which you would know the city, probably. She tells you the city. Man, I'm blanking on the name. I'm just gonna tell you outright. It's the city where you kill that matriarch lady.
Isn't that Port Haven?
Port Haven,
Yeah,
thank
it's,
you.
Underneath Port Haven.
Oh, that's right. I changed the name because I couldn't remember the first one, so it became Port Haven, and then I couldn't remember what I changed it to.
Well, I'm gonna be quite frank. That's a terrible idea for them, as Port Haven was placed on full alert in case the Drow wanted to attack from there.
Oh, yeah, that city's been preparing since the incident.
I said near Port Haven. I didn't say they popped out in Port Haven. Still, they will be aware of things, which means that you'll likely see responses from them soon.
Yeah, because I remember you asked her to put them on high alert.
Mm-hmm. No problem, Zhao. Looking into things, sending out a contingency to the Kingdom of the West, and checking in on that sometime later. Roy's people do come in, and I'll leave it to Aster. Aster, roll me with D20. That's an 11. He does stay towards you. Based on the information that we have gathered on the scientifically inclined individuals that you have told us to find, our leading scouts have determined that there are potentially 3 people, but the most... how should I say this properly?
Promising?
Promising, that's a good word for it, other than the one I was going to use. He then gives you the information. They are in the tribe known as the Tribe of Rain. They go by the name of... I don't know if this is a correct name or a pseudonym, but it's known as Wind Speaker.
And would you be able to draft a map to the location of Windspeaker, or at least his clan?
Of course, sir. He then gives you the information he would likely already prepared beforehand, in case you would have asked for it, and he hands it to you.
Thank you.
Of course. They're a rather small group, so they do travel from time to time, but this is the general terrain that they traverse.
Excellent. Would you... I'm sorry to ask something of you back to back like this. Would you be able to gather a contingent of your fellow soldiers and head towards Port Haven and join their local scouting parties? Let them know that we expect a breach of those monstrosities that we have been speaking about with the druids. I implore you to speak with the druids about those so that you know how best to combat them. We expect them to start popping up around there in about a week. So if you could establish a regular scouting patrol in Port Haven during that time, it would certainly allow no confusion and unrest to take place.
Understood, sir. I will speak with the druids at once. Some time does pass, and he goes and speaks with the druids. Greetings. Oh, hi there, handsome. Oh, well, thank you. And then Roy is never seen again until he's seen again. But definitely some flirting happens. Maybe not in Roy's case, but in Alpani's sister's case. Regardless, you sent Roy to his doom. In one regard. He'll be fine. Maybe not emotionally, but he'll be fine. Going with that, I'll tell you what happens later on with that one, because you did two things. So those have been established, and the second thing will be found out later. Yoko said that they didn't really have anything else planned, so they're just doing the regular, training with Pepper, Sprite, Coca-Cola.
Dude, what is with your
Can't
shit?
think of another Coke product.
Man, get your shit together, dog. We need these names. I mean, come on.
Speaking with Jennifer, it's not even the proper name.
Jen,
What's that name that like they argue about if it's like actually a historic name or not because it appears in like one poem from like the 16th century?
I
No idea.
don't know.
Don't ask me.
Fair enough.
Honestly, this is the first thing I've heard about that, so I got nothing. But yeah, Yoko and Sprite begin to train here and there. From time to time, Sprite does get like missives from the guy that you guys were training with previously. You know, the big, strong guy that has somehow trained his body to not withstand as much nerve damage when you paralyze punch people. You know his name. His name is Peter. He's the guy with the checkered background.
Yeah, the one that said that he's here, that he was told to come help. And yeah.
Yeah, he is helping, but he's now helping Aster's sister. You know, keeping watch, making sure she is safe. While she speaks with the Lycanthrope tribe. But from what Yoken can tell, they are doing good. They haven't died yet. So far, things have been going according to plan. And from what he can tell, Aster's sister is very smart. He fears that if her strength is as... How would he put it? If her strength was as smart as her smart, then she would be stronger than he. Which is a very big compliment. You think?
I guess.
He's also pretty strong. But regardless of that, you train, hone your skills, and time does pass. Milo, anything you're considering doing?
Nah.
Okay. Focusing on your own things, keeping watch, keeping vigilance of your own machinations. Perhaps speaking with the other dignitary that is here within the city that you are assisting / keeping watch over. You spend your time pleasantly. Zhao, anything you're doing?
Just probably same thing I have been doing, night patrols and stuff, murdering some asshole from a criminal organization.
You don't know if he's an asshole. He could just be smarmy.
You created him. He's an asshole.
He's probably an asshole.
There's no probably about it. He is. Who are we talking about?
It doesn't really matter.
Birch, the what elf, is an asshole. But yeah, she'd probably just stick to what she's been doing, patrols and just trying to keep an eye out.
All right.
Also, probably trying to help stop the rumor of a dragon. See if she
That's-
can divert attention from that.
That's gonna be hard. Is there like something you're thinking about on how to divert it?
An
Because I'm not saying it's
explosion
impossible.
from the magic school.
But
They could pull it off.
is it a wise idea? Yeah, you can definitely do that. I just don't know the outcome of it. If I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, it doesn't technically have to be an explosion, just lots of smoke and the sound of an explosion.
How do you garner in permission to do this?
Talk to Aster and explain my idea about diverting attention from this.
That
So they can gossip about what happened at the magic school.
That could work, but someone from what you and Aster discussed and the leader of the school discuss, the leader does state, that is not a problem, but the only actual foundational problem is that someone will have to be blamed for this.
Blame the honeybees. Blame Birch.
I mean, you can. Again, up to you. I'm not going to say if it's a good idea or not.
If we only wish to have them gossiping amongst themselves about trivial matters, then there is a far better way to do this. I don't wish to risk anyone.
No fun.
I am not going to like this at all.
Oh. Do tell.
Have the criers put out a message that the king is looking for a queen and that any eligible bachelorette is welcome at the castle to apply.
You're going to get so much shit from your sister.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is gonna be great.
Hey, Boobs is gonna be there.
Oh, she is gonna be front and center.
I'm
If
just going to auto.
if anyone has a better idea, I'd love to hear it.
That is golden.
I will tell you I like this idea so much because I can mess with you more with your sister. I'm going to auto succeed it, but you can think of other things if you want.
No, it's a fairly good plan, and I hate that it's a fairly good plan.
Fairly good. It's an awesome, amazing plan, motherfucker.
It's actually it's unironically fairly perfect to just get people gossiping.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Especially with the line of anyone
Any eligible.
eligible. Yeah, sorry, eligible individual. It's not like
Wait.
royalty,
gotta
nobility, rich. It's like any eligible individual.
And that means commoners too.
Which
merchants.
will drive
daughters.
up rumors of potential love interest, but didn't want to say, so there is.
Oh no, I
Things to
worded
be
it in
held.
that way. I worded it in that way for that exact reason.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm saying it auto succeeds unless you can think of something else, which you can totally do. I just want this one primarily.
I can't think of something nearly as good if we're just trying to get people to have rumors and not investigate this and go about their lives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like my idea, so I'm trying to get rid of Birch at the same time.
That would also work, but it might have unforeseen consequences.
Oh, I kind of figured that, but
I don't wish to have the people worry about possible attacks is my main concern.
Yeah.
The capital must be safe. It must
let's
be
not
safe.
have people worry about possible attacks. We're going to war with the Drow, and they're sending monsters up from the Underdark.
They sent something. You don't know what it is.
It's some type of monster.
You sent
We'll
out people
say
to
that.
investigate. Fair.
Oh God. Depending on what they sent, we might be screwed.
They've got like 6 days to prepare by this point. I'm
Yeah.
fairly confident in Port Haven.
It could also just be 3 dudes.
Imagine, like, you've been digging for like 3 months, right? Or however long. You get to the surface and you are just absolutely riddled with crossbow bolts. Just immediately pincushioned.
We only wanted to escape.
Get back in your hole.
And remove the curse.
I highly doubt that they're sending mails out unsupervised. There's
Fine then. 3 dudes and 1 woman.
yeah.
At the very least. Quite literally.
Sounds like a horrible porn name.
Kind of, yeah.
That's kind of the whole drow thing, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. 3 dudes, 1 woman, and 1 demon. Or was it devil? I forget which one. Which group that they cater to the more. Unimportant. Examining this, looking through everything, Zhao more or less tempered on exploding or making things, put air quotes, explode, and blaming Birch. Aster then devises the call to wed, potentially, and any potential candidates, suitors, etc., can make their bet. Rumors begin to spread immediately. The growing rumor of a beast within the woods immediately, nearly, there's like still people, but like not too many of them are focusing on that. For obvious reasons, immediately gets overshown by this announcement that came out of nowhere. Rumors begin to spread of the king potentially already having a suitor, but wants it to be not as obvious when it's decided. Other rumors of potential need for a suitor begins to arrive.
I mean, he's always surrounded by women, so I mean,
Always surrounded.
He's got at least 2 by his side right now.
Mm-hmm. People begin to call to arms, and eventually a system of will be devised on figuring out the candidacy of things will happen more than likely off screen. That is a mess to deal with later, but it's definitely something that you will deal with later.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal with this one for the rest of my life. I'm fairly certain.
As it's going on, days do pass, and then the date given to you all does show up. The representative of the Night Owls does appear as beforehand. You all gather up here. There could potentially be other people if you want, but she and only 1 other attendant, a nice, slim individual, but of age, not of age, with given age, with peppered hair, a nice comb mustache is behind her. Think like butler, but like in a more sleek position. She like addresses you, bows politely, but not like, I suppose it's ceremonial. Then looks towards you. Huh. Greetings all. It's been quite some time. Before I go into pleasantries, business. She like hands each of you documents on what they have found, and as you look them over, she does state, just so you don't actually have to read anything. She does state, based on the information that we have gathered, it does in fact seem that the patriarch has connected with the governing forces underneath in the Underdark, namely the Drow cities there, to have their own importing systems go through it. We have scouted the area as you all had requested, and we have found a safe enough way to get in through that spot. Detailed information is obviously disclosed within your files. And one of my agents, if you would like, can show you directly how to get there. But you yourselves can read, I imagine.
I imagine that we can, yes.
Yes.
I appreciate all the work you've done.
Of course. Speaking of that matter, it does seem that you have taken care of the corrupted copper dragon. The nobleman is still looking to acquire it. If you would like to exchange it for funds, feel free to ask me at any moment in time. But that is not a concern at the moment in time. Furthermore, based off of everything we have seen, the Patriarch has also found discovery of investigation, so they have ceased certain ships from traveling and getting past the bordering district, causing concern for the organization known as Rev and Rev Incorporated. It seems that someone of his inner circle has discovered us, which is concerning, as that is not supposed to happen in most cases. We will investigate this further in our own stead, but just to be aware, if there are any ways of you heading there, please be advised that more than likely magical disguises will be seen through as a precaution.
You mean to the kingdom or through that hidden waterway?
I believe the territory of the Patriarch. We had to get through the border in order to do so, and something had to have tipped them off. We were obviously surveilling the areas when we investigated the tunnel, so it must have happened while we were still in the city. I highly doubt they have direct knowledge, just inferring. And anyone that does create some type of wave will likely be investigated immediately.
I see. Thank you.
Of course. Now then, to get to brass tacks. This information has been concluded based off of your own transactions with the getting rid of the Oni in the forest. As mentioned beforehand, you also took care of the dragon. Again, money involved if you'd like to transfer the entity. But if there's any other things you'd like us to do, please contact us at our offices. Oh, and this one is on the house. She then places down it looks like a symbol of a circle with a star in the middle of it. And inside the star, there is a dragon egg. The dragon, Zhao and Yoko, go ahead and roll for me history. Nice. And eh.
Yeah. Right back at ya. Rude.
Zhao, it looks familiar, but you can't place it at the moment in time. And Yoko, you can place this thing. It is a problem. As the woman in front of you does state, we're not exactly sure what this group is, but we have found a few people with these insignias roaming around the area. We were able to capture one, but not without incurring losses. That being said, this is the job expected. And Yoko, you can tell that who these individuals are. They are known. Did I really not change the name? Whatever. Going with the first name I went with, I guess. They are known as the Dragonborn. Individuals with draconic heritage within their blood. Not Dragonborn as in the individuals from that look more like dragons than anything else. But Dragonborn as in born of dragon blood. I don't know why I'm changing my cadence for that. Yoko, you would know this information. You have this information. They are a secretive group that don't exactly... They're not friendly with other people. In fact, they care more for themselves than anything else. Unless you're strong. If you are stronger than them, then they will listen to you. If you are not, they will not. She said there's a multitude of people that are around near the matriarch's area. They roam around, are not secluded to one kingdom. They are more nomadic than anything else. But for so many to be in one place at one time, it is a problem. And it is a deadly problem. But she does state, I'm not exactly sure what they were, but they ignited in flame after they were subdued. We tried to keep them alive, but it wasn't... we couldn't sustain their body for too long. Unfortunately, we were not prepared for the immediate explosion. Well, not much of explosion, more as if their body lit a flame and then decayed away in the flame.
I'll pass along what I know about them.
You pass it along with the group. Do you pass along with her?
Yeah, I suppose she gave it to us as a freebie, so she can have what I know about it as a freebie.
Mm-hmm. They are more or less boogeymen that people state. They're like tall tales that say, beware of the men that ride in the night, that fly in the sky and burn bright. Random lore here and there, but never anything concrete. She does state, this is problematic if this is the case. I will investigate these individuals further, but right now I have no information other than what you have stated beforehand. Thank you, Miss Yoko. If this is a danger to my group, it's likely a danger to your kingdom as well. And looks towards Yoko, more than likely yours as well. We will investigate this further and speak with into the area that they were mentioning beforehand. You also have the location of the... Let's call him a scientist. Roy would use other words. The scientist that they have investigated, so you now have concrete knowledge on him. You also know of this other group known as the Dragonborn. A weird group born of the blood of a dragon, or dragons, known as boogeymen of the night. tales you tell to scare children into behaving properly, or politely at the very least. And you have the current information that you do know. The Mystic, the Drow, also have scientific knowledge that you can potentially use. Whatever was burrowing from the ground to the surface has now breached it, and it's about a week before they can get here. But they are near Port Haven, which does mean that they might give you more information. In fact, you do get word, Milo, Yoko, Zhao, and Aster, that 3 individuals have been spotted near Port Haven itself, waving a flag of a dignitary, which means that they are not here to fight. And they do, in the missive, it does read that they are going to head towards the capital. But we will give time to reply. And in the message, it was in parentheses indicating that's what they said to them. And they do state, what should we do?
And this is coming from the Drow?
This is, the parentheses words are coming from the Drow stating, we are diplomats heading towards the capital. We will give you time to respond. And then the other part, what should we do, is Port Haven themselves. Because if they're just diplomats and they die, potential immediate war.
Yeah. How far out are they?
They are still a week away. They breached it, and if they started moving, they would make it here within a week.
If they fly the flag of peace, then I will not attack them. I say we set up for welcoming them.
Okay.
Is there any objections? This actually should call for a council meeting, but
They are there. I just forgot to flip them in.
okay. Yeah, no. If I'm open to welcoming them, I don't think we need to immediately attack a dignitary party. I think that's. I think we can all agree that's at least in poor taste.
Nah, all for their heads.
I guess that's 1 for murder.
I'm joking.
Good to hear.
We may want to have a backup plan, though.
Dean
I thought that was the backup
agrees.
plan.
Dean also agrees. He does state, regardless of the flag they wave, we, as Miss Zhao and Yoko do state, a backup plan is needed. Maybe not immediate murder, but something along the lines of not allowing them to cause danger.
So we set up the welcoming committee a days away from the capital on the road, and we meet them outside the gates.
Rook does state that would be the wisest idea, keeping them away from the people, but allowing us time to create I forget the word. It's like a nice little garden area people like can converse in. Pagoda? No, that's not it.
Gazebo?
Probably gazebo. I'm gonna go with this gazebo. A nice gazebo to allow them and us to speak in a private manner, but also a kinder manner. Harvey does state, agreed, and we also should be prepared in case they immediately attack. I do suggest King Aster to have a body double, but I'll leave that to his own discretion.
No, I cannot risk this being perceived as an insult to them. I will go myself.
Soul does state. We probably shouldn't attack them immediately. That's true. But we should also perhaps investigate why they're coming here now. You did mention that potential war would be happening, and it has been some months and no action. Perhaps thinking of a few things to discuss with them beforehand would be also advised.
Maybe they want to prepare themselves for war before actually doing anything.
Or see if things
Well, recently their infrastructure that I think they planned on fueling their war economy with took a heavy blow, if I'm not mistaken. So I think perhaps they are simply trying to bide time, or maybe they don't even feel they can manage anymore without the supplies that they were going to get.
Colette does state, perhaps. But regardless of that, there is definitely something else happening. Would you have told them about the whole dragon situation thing? I assume you would. I just, need confirmation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they are clearly doing something else. They are waving a flag and they are conspiring behind the scenes, which, as an enemy, if I was an enemy and I were them, I would understand that. But if they are waving a flag of a dignitary in front of you, then that means they are trying to keep your eyes focused on them. Which means there is something more behind this. I just do not know.
Have guards around the dragon doubled and inform Port Haven to do the same.
Carl nods. Of course, sir. We'll make sure to do that right away. Plan.
Guards around the dragon should also be prepared for the enemy to come up from below.
Lon does state. Very well. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll send word right away. And Cole does state. Right then. We'll make sure Port Haven gets missives as well as guards stationed while they are around a day prior. Are twofold. People are going to be pulling all-nighters, but we'll compensate them for their pay, so that'll be that. Dean does state, let's come up with potentially a few things to ask them while they're here. We'll keep watch, keep prepared, and most of all, the four of you should be prepared for an ambush attack. If I was an enemy leader, I would definitely target the people surrounding the king first. And since the First Lady isn't here, he says, and then he takes it back. Pardon, sorry. Since your sister isn't here, and Aster and the rest of you can tell that Dean is like reading into the rumors that have been spreading and thinks that Aster might already have a mistress. He just doesn't know who it is. Since Miss Fiel isn't here, they'll likely be targeting the next individuals closest to you, which would likely be whoever you spend your most time with, and your allies in front of you.
Well, they hopefully have no way of knowing where my sister is. So I think she's safe as a dignitary, and I have faith that the Eastern clan will take care of her. I do not worry of any of my nearby compatriots. They can all handle themselves quite well. Jean will be safe within the capital walls, though I will invite him to stay in the castle during that time. Am I forgetting anyone?
Not that I can think of. Perhaps the council, but we would already take stride to keep ourselves safe.
I was going to say, I endeavor all of you to, without discussing with anyone, find safe accommodations for that time. No more than 2 of you to share a room.
Carl does state, very well then. You would likely need at least one other individual within political talks. Feel free to have one of us accompany you, but you're more than likely, and I'm just telling you how it's going to work. You can have one other political figure with you. You kind of have to. But you can have your guards, your attendants, just in case trouble happens, as it'd be normal. So Milo, Zhao, and Yoko can definitely be there without being part of the political talks. But you can also assign one of them to be a diplomat, technically.
I don't have to do shit. If there's anyone who would like to volunteer to attend, know that you will likely be in danger. And though I will strive for your safety, it cannot be assured.
I'm sorry, why do I have the mental image of Colette bouncing up and down and almost giving herself a black eye?
I don't know. Just the what?
Just because Aster asked one of them to join him.
As much as it does pain me to say it, Colette or Soul, as we are dealing with a matriarchal society, I don't know if it would be better or worse for you to attend. Quite frankly, I do not want them to be discussing with you as though that you were the king. But on the other hand, it might make them feel more comfortable to reveal secrets.
Colette does state, they would likely pay respect to the king, but they would likely have a softer hand if a feminine touch would be there. I would advise having your, looks towards Yoko and Zhao, assistants, friends, other, be there as well. But one would have benefit if they were speaking as a diplomat. Meaning, good idea to have Yoko and Zhao there, but probably best if you have a female figure as your number 2.
Any volunteers?
Soul would state, I would gladly volunteer if it means protecting the people. And Colette does state, I would in turn volunteer my services. Politely bows, more than likely showing more cleavage than expected. In polite company, but it's how the dress is cut. I'm only giving that detail because of Zhao's prior description.
I will leave it amongst you two to decide who will attend.
I'm just gonna roll for it. Below 10, Soul. Above 10, Colette. Milo, roll me a d20. Looks like it's Colette. They rock, paper, scissors for you, and Colette wins. All right. Glad to be of service, Your Majesty. and looks towards the other three, Milo, Zhao, and Yoko. And to be in your company in turn. For the moment, I'm sure. Getting your plans ready, getting the guards ready, getting Port Haven ready. You will have an established defensive line prior to them ever getting here. Shows. You can't sit with us. Yoko, you, Zhao, Milo, Aster begin to make way, prepare the area. A defensive line is met, and a scouting party a day ahead will be waiting for them prior to this. Whatever happens in these talks, you may or may not be facing something, but whether or not you fight, I will leave that as a mystery, because there's definitely threat there. The creatures, the animals around you did flee, which means there is an not all powering, a danger between these three people. You know what? I'm going to say 4 people. These 4 people. You don't know if it's all of them or one of them, but there is enough of the threat that the wilderness itself is acting irrationally. So let's hope. Beyond hope, it is just talking. But even if it's even if you do not fight them, there is still a threat around. What that is, I'll just leave that to your imagination. Until next time, as we end the session for today.